What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. Welcome to my Week 10 waiver wire pickups video. Let's go. Russell Wilson did good, and Dez Bryant did bad. Some other disappointments this week have been Devontae Booker, probably the biggest disappointment. Marvin Jones, he's been just horrible as of late. And I'd have to say Andrew Luck didn't have a completely terrible performance, but had very high expectations. I expected him to finish at least a top 5 quarterback this week, and he did not. There are 4 teams on bye this week. That's the Bills, the Lions, Colts, and Raiders. Quarterbacks that are must pickups but are probably not available in your league. I've noticed some people have dropped them. They had buys or they've been a little bit disappointments. Those guys are Andy Dalton, must pick up, will be great now that Eifert is back. That offense is going to be clicking with Eifert healthy. Trust me on that, guys. Carson Palmer, a must pick up, especially this week going against the Niners. He's been a big disappointment, and I lost a good amount of trust in him. But Carson Palmer going against the Niners at home is a sweet matchup. This is an amazing spot start if you own a quarterback like Derek Carr or Andrew Luck, for example. Eli Manning, I see him really improving the rest of the season. He had a horrible first half of the regular season. He will do better. Odell Beckham's playing better. I like him. Great long-term pickup. This week, one of the top spot starts at quarterback is definitely Joe Flacco. Going against the Browns, he'll probably have his best game as long as the Browns are able to put up a couple points, and Joe Flacco will still need to throw the ball in the third quarter. That's also another scenario, guys. If the Ravens score on the ground and the Browns are getting shut out, unfortunately, Flacco may not have to throw. But when it comes to a spot start, if you're in need, it's going to be hard to beat a guy like Joe Flacco. I also have Carson Wentz going against the Falcons. We know the Falcons love to score a ton of points. Wentz may need to throw the ball. I really like Tyrod Taylor. He is on bye this week. A sneaky start this week would be Jay Cutler playing in Tampa Bay. And in deeper leagues, we have Trevor Siemian, Ryan Tannehill. And if you're in a deep dual quarterback league, look at Jared Goff. He may be starting as soon as week 11, so definitely put him on your radar. Or if you're in a dual QB league, you may just want to pick him up right now in anticipation, like I did with Kaepernick in week 2. For running backs, I told you guys last week the number 1 running back pickup should be and was James Starks. Sharkandrick West was not that good, guys, and James Starks, he's going to start playing either week 10 or week 11, I believe. He's practicing, he's getting healthy, and this guy is a must pick up on an explosive Packers offense. Like I said, I already mentioned him. Darren Sproles has been great in both formats, especially PPR, especially in leagues that reward points for return yardage. But now that he's named the starter, he should be owned in every league. Dion Lewis, mentioned him before, PPR stash. The upside is so high there, you can't ignore this guy. Chris Ivory and TJ Yeldon, they changed offensive coordinators. So these guys, if they're on waivers, they're definitely worth a pickup. And most of these guys is mainly due to injuries. So we have Robert Kelly if Matt Jones is out. Peyton Barber, he's kind of becoming a must pickup in deeper formats. We know Jaquiz is hurt. We know that Doug Martin is hurt. He may be coming back soon. I'm unfortunately a Doug Martin owner. And Charles Sims is done for the year. And also Anton Smith is done for the year. Same thing goes to DeJuan Harris. Great running back if Carlos Hyde is out. And this guy's basically becoming a must pick up in deep leagues too, because we see Carlos Hyde has never really been healthy and stayed on the field in his career. So DeJuan Harris, I'll put it like this, he's more than a handcuff. Paul Perkins, the upside is there. We talked about him a lot, especially in the pre-draft. A lot of people were high on him, and now he's worth it. Bobby Rainey, Orleans Darkwa, both are basically must drops. So now that makes Paul Perkins relevant. The upside is there, everything's there. Kenneth Dixon, he's definitely worth a pickup in PPR leagues. Great spot start this week. We see him get a lot more carries. What we heard from the Ravens has actually been true. He's actually been more involved in the offense. Not too high. I'm a Dixon owner, so not too high on him, but still, running backs are hard to come by, especially when buys and injuries hit. And deeper leagues, we have Capri Bibbs, CJ Prosise, Damian Williams, and I like Jalen Richard in PPR leagues. Keep in mind, he is on bye. For wide receivers, Cole Beasley, enough said, JJ Nelson, we mentioned those guys. Rashard Matthews, this guy is the real deal. I like him. He's good. He'll be getting touchdowns. I would say I'm not as high on Rashard Matthews as other experts and other people are, but I still do like him. He is definitely worth a pickup. We know Mariota loves to spread the ball. When they're behind in games, you know, Mariota and the receivers are good. When they're above in games, we know DeMarco Murray is going to get carries. If Henry's healthy, he's going to get carries. So this is not an ideal offense. It's like the Saints offense, but you know, not great, not that explosive when it comes to passing. You know, Mariota is not Drew Brees. So, you know, like I said, I like him, but not as much as other people. Sammy Coates is still worth a pickup. You know, he's got that upside. He's just so risky. Like, this guy is so annoying, so frustrating to be a Sammy Coates owner. Whether he's hurt his hand or not, he doesn't seem to be able to hold on to the ball. It's just, oh gosh. I'm not a Coates owner, luckily, I guess. Some more sleeper picks. Ted Ginn Jr., I already mentioned Kendall Wright. Marquise Lee, if Allen Hurns is hurt, if Allen Hurns is out, Marquise Lee steps up and becomes a starter. Cordero Patterson, Adam Humphries, this guy I might rank this guy higher actually. If Russell Shepard is out, this guy's value skyrockets, and you know he is going to be really good. Vincent Jackson out. If Russell Shepard is out, Adam Humphries is really good. He's been pretty consistent. You know, not great, not a wide receiver 1 or 2, but definitely flex consideration if Russell Shepard is out. And I have Brian Quick if you're in a deep league. For tight ends, a lot of these guys at the top are must pickups, unlikely available in your league, but I looked at the ownership percentages. They're shockingly low. Zach Miller, must pick up. Eric Ebron, must pick up. He's on bye. Cameron Brate, must pick up. He's a low-end tight end 1. Maybe if you're in a more shallow league, 8-man, 10-man league, maybe a high-end tight end 2. But I consider him a low-end tight end 1. Antonio Gates, amazing tight end if Hunter Henry is hurt. Lance Kendricks has slowly been getting even better. This guy's actually becoming startable. You know, I wouldn't have expected that the first couple weeks in fantasy, but I have to put him on this list. Zach Ertz, he's been pretty disappointing except for maybe 2 good games he's had. So, you know, not too, that's why I didn't rank him too high. He's still worth a pickup. I think the Eagles are going to have to throw the ball this week. So if you got like Jordan Matthews, Zach Ertz, may even want to throw a dart at Dorial Green-Beckham or Nelson Aguilar if you're in desperate need of a wide receiver. I see the Eagles having to throw the ball. Dennis Pitta has been pretty disappointing. No upside, no touchdowns, and that's not something you want in a tight end at all. It's very rare you get tight ends that get a ton of receptions and a ton of targets and aren't big touchdown guys. When you go for a tight end, you want touchdowns, so I definitely have to downgrade him. If you want to stash, look for Ladarius Green, Jared Cook. Those guys might be returning really early. And in deeper leagues, I have CJ Fedorowicz, Virgil Green, Vernon Davis, and Will Tye. For defenses, this position is starting to settle out a little bit. Not too many left to stream, but we have some great matchups this week. Ravens defense, they're going against the Browns. No brainer there, right, guys? Then we have Cardinals playing at home, coming off a bye week, going against the Niners, a horrible team. This is a great matchup. Unfortunately, they're owned in most leagues. Patriots going against the Seahawks. That's a decent one. Patriots are owned in a lot of leagues. I really like the Jets defense. They're facing the Rams. The Rams don't put up a lot of points offensively. And I like the Rams defense in, you know, same game. It could be a very low scoring game. I like it much, much, much more if Ryan Fitzpatrick is hurt or he's out. The Rams defense is going to be just amazing if we see someone like Bryce Petty under center for the Jets. I also like Washington's defense going against the Vikings. Vikings don't score a lot of points. The Texans D, of course. Chargers D, it's kind of like throwing a dart, but I may have to start them this week. I'm not too fond of them, but you know, big plays is what we like in fantasy defenses. And the Chargers do cause some fumbles, some picks. You know, they score points, so you know, it's risky, but hey, all defenses are risky, so they're still on there. That's why I don't have them too high. It's kind of tough. I mean, Dolphins' offense isn't that great, and another reason I don't like them, they're running the ball really well, and teams that can run the ball really well are going to lower the chances of my fantasy defense getting those big plays, those pick sixes, etc., etc. And, you know, if you want to throw a dart, you're in a deep league, go with the Jaguars defense. This is, like, I believe the worst fantasy defense, which is just horrible considering the Niners and Saints are NFL teams. So, you know, I have them last. You know, if you're in a deep league, 16-man league, I think I mentioned earlier, I drafted for someone in a 16-man league, and a lot of teams drafted 2 defenses, so there was only a couple defenses left after the draft. You're in one of those type of leagues, Jaguars going against the Brock Osweilers, hey man, you could do a lot worse this week. And for kickers, a lot of the good kickers are owned, but I love Brandon McManus. I think every show is dedicated to Brandon McManus here. Every podcast, every Wednesday morning is dedicated to Brandon McManus. And, you know, he's not been the best, right? But he's been really good. I think this is one of the most reliable kickers in fantasy. I mean, he's a top 10 kicker. He's very reliable. I like him even more when he's at home. I own him in one league, in the fantasy couch league. He's pretty good. I also like Josh Lambo this week and long term. I like Nick Novak this week. I like Chandler Catanzaro this week, playing against the Niners, high tempo offense, and they're going to keep continuing the tempo at the end because they're going to need to come back. I like Cairo Santos a lot this week. Not a lot of big difference between any of these kickers. And my last kicker, though, is Robbie Gould. And, you know, the Giants have been pretty good with their kickers last year, so I put him out there. I think he'll have a decent game, and this guy is definitely ranked last on my waiver kicker pickups. And those are all my waiver ads for this week. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a comment below, and if you're a true Fantasy Couch fan, let me know you are by using hashtag AskTheBrain, like so. I don't know, can you guys see this? Hashtag AskTheBrain. Hashtag AskTheBrain, guys. Whether on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, in the comments below, use hashtag AskTheBrain. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, or else you may not make the playoffs, guys. Woo.